Okay, 50 Shades freed after 30 minutes. Not a lot too much, but again, it's very like the conflict and like controversy that they try to whatchamacallit. It's very I'll not say superficial. It ain't deep. It ain't deep down at all. Anyway, okay. So what happens from the 20-minute mark to the 30-minute mark? So I forget whatever I said at the end of the 20-minute mark, but let's see. Oh, they hopped in the car. So he picked her up. So after work, he's like, "I see you at 5, whatever." He picks her up at 5. They hop in the car. It's a little. At first, I was like, "What kind of car is this?" Because it's low. It looks fast. Like, what type of car is this? It ain't a Lamborghini. It ain't a Ferrari. It's an Audi. So she was like, "Let me drive this." No, you're not driving this. But anyway, no, let me drive. No, it's not happening. So they get in the car. They drive. They're driving, driving, driving. Now, in the second movie, they were on a boat, and across from the boat, off in the distance, they saw like a house, and he makes a low key reference. If you ever seen, not it's not Wolf of Wall Street. What's the other movie? Oh man, what's the other movie that dressed up a lot? Oh man, oh man, Great Gatsby. Okay, The Great Gatsby. If you ever seen The Great Gatsby, he kind of sort of makes a reference, kind of sort of like that, like it's the house off in the distance, and there's this light that be shining, and he makes some type of, I'm not sure if it was an actual Great Gatsby reference, but he was like, oh, um, she notices it, and he's like, oh, lady lives there, and she shines the light, and she's waiting for her lover or something like that. She's like, you just made that up? He was like, yeah. So, but that was in the second movie. So they drive and drive and driving. They drive into like the woods, and then make down his turn. And she was like, "It kind of looks familiar." And he was like, "Yeah, remember that house that you remember we was on the boat and that house that you looked at?" He was like, "I bought it." So she was like, "Whoa." He was like, he's like, "Ah, yeah, I probably should have asked you first." And it just like, "No, I love it." So she kisses him. "No, I love it." So he bought the house. So get the house, they walk up to the house, and then it's a lady, I guess she works with Elliot or whatever. Her name is Jaya Matio. Jaya Matio. So she is an architect. That's something that you just don't. You don't know. Most people probably don't know an architect. Some people who are architects, they don't. I don't know. There's like nowadays you don't know a sculptor. You don't personally know an architect or sculptor. There's certain things like that, right? Unless you're in a certain realm. You don't know somebody who sells horses. It's those types of things, right? So Jaya Matio, she is. You can basically kind of sort of tell like she looked decent. She not a blonde bombshell, but she's a blonde. She's face card valid. So she's decent. One of the things that they're for sure trying to portray, she talks mostly to Christian, Mr. Grey, and this and the third. Oh, that article on you in the GQ magazine, awesome. I loved it. It was amazing. I love what you're doing in Africa. So you know, she's touching on him, and she's talking to him, and not really paying Anna too much attention. That's supposed to be one of the things that's kind of sort of like being focused on in this interaction. So he was like, yeah, this is Jaya Mateo. She's the architect. And then so Jaya lays out on the table like some plans. She was like, yeah, we're gonna make this a smart home. You know, we're gonna change out these windows to have the state of the art this, and she's basically saying like, oh, in the West Wing there's gonna be this, and there's gonna be an infinity pool. So she's saying all this luxurious stuff of how to change the house, just basically almost like deconstruct the whole house. She's like, this, I work on a lot of prestige projects. So, but she's making like little passes. She's making these little rubs or so on Christian. And then he takes a call. He's like, hold on, excuse me, I gotta take a call. So he takes a call. And then when he takes his call, Anna sits on the plans and looks at her. She was like, yeah, listen, you're not gonna keep talking to him and act like I'm not here. You're not gonna keep talking to him as if I'm not here, making all these passes out. She's like, and she's like, oh, I've worked on plenty of prestige projects. She's like, it's not a prestige project. she said this is our home. This is our home, and because Anna's on some like she don't want to make too many changes. She was like, I like it as it is. It has a lot of character, and so she was like, if you want to keep this job, do you need to refer to him as Mr. Gray, and you're going to refer to me as Mrs. Gray, and so Anna takes this whole little role, and she's like, yeah, you need to back off, this type of thing. And so when Christian comes back, she was like, yeah, we was just talking, and I was letting her know that we're gonna have some respectable plans, and it's gonna be this, that, and the third. So she basically like marks her territory in that sense because she basically picks up on that Jaya Mateo is making like these passes or whatever, like, and Jaya switches up real quick. Like it was like she don't try to like fight it. She was like at first she was about to say something slick, and then when Christian comes back, she was like, okay, it won't happen again. And then so there's just that whole little exchange. But you'll see. I'm assuming we'll see more of Jay Amatio, and if there's any like something comes up of that, some type of infidelity. They just got married, so there's this type of thing. Then what happens from here? So they go to leave the house, and after they leave the house, then Christian was like, "Man, I hired artists at security. You scarier than them." And then he was like, "All right, well, you can drive back." So now on the way back, mind you, for the most part, it's like a love film or whatever, and they try to do other little things. They don't really particularly do these other things well, but it's whatever, right? It's there. They have it present. They do it. So mind you, so this is when it kind of like I didn't know what kind of car it was. I didn't know if it was a. I just knew it wasn't a Lamborghini. I knew it wasn't a Ferrari. It's not a Porsche. It's an Audi. So this is where they finally showing those scenes, and they do a decent job at showing like zoom 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 like with the car. Anna's driving now, so she's driving the car all fast and whatnot, and then Christian starts to get calls from Taylor, and he was like, "Oh, there's an SUV." So there's an SUV following them, and so Christian look at her like, lose the car." And she's like, "Huh?" He's like, "Nah, for real, lose the car." So she hits the gas, she starts speeding up. So now it's like this whole high speed chase. And so this is from the 20-minute mark to the 30-minute mark. So it's a whole high speed chase. They move from there, they get onto the highway, they make a cut past this little tractor trailer truck. It's one of them trucks that as a person, if you've seen Final Destination, you ain't about to you gonna move around, you ain't about to be driving behind this truck, this and the third. But he's like, speed up, go right there, boom, boom, boom. So they're on the highway, and then almost get blocked in. Flash your lights. She's like, so she flashes her lights, gets through those cars. Then she gets off on the little highway jank, and then from the little highway jank, they pull into a parking lot. So that whole thing, then that has her adrenaline pumping, so that has her adrenaline pumping. So they have to, she starts, as soon as they park the car in this little parking lot, and they lose the car, then it's like she was like, I don't know, whatever. Then she started kissing him or whatever, and then unbuckle seatbelts. Like, we're in the parking lot. I know. So, but yeah, basically that whole high speed chase and her driving the car that done got her all, excited and whatnot. So she straddles him, and then they have a little quick session there. Then the next little part is I'm not sure. Hold on, there's two little things. They have like this little meeting or whatever. I think the next part is a little meeting. So they try to figure out, okay, they take some little screenshots and videos like, okay, look at the driver, try to identify the driver, and there's like, oh, that's not Jack. Jack Hyde, her former boss. They're assuming that he's like doing stuff, but there's like, oh, that's not a male, that's a woman driver. So does he have any accomplices? And so Christian has all these connects. So he's like, what has it? He's like, no, Jack hasn't been making any transactions. He hasn't been doing anything. His family's low. There's not a lot of information that's on the third. So Christian's like, I want all the details about where he come from. I want to know his shoe size, everything. Pull up all this information. And then, so they do that. They had that little meeting with the security, Prescott, Sawyer, and Taylor. So after that, then Anna is looking at him. She's like, oh, mind you, first when he first popped up at her office, she was like, you need a shave. So he done shaved, but then she was like, you need a haircut. He was like, you're not cutting my hair. She's like, I used to cut my dad's. You're not this, that, third. Then it just ends up with a hair wash. she's washing his hair. So that's that's up until the 30-minute mark of 50 Shades of Freed. So we're going a little back and forth. Now this little hair washing thing is just a nice little, if you ever had your, because those are the little things, like if you got your own clippers, you can definitely like, if you get like a low cut, you know what I'm saying, or even just cutting hair, it ain't too difficult or nothing like that. Well, for me, you know what I'm saying, it is just keep the guard on, then the hair is like cutting grass, As long as the guard is on, it ain't gonna cut more than this. So just keep going. You can keep going over as much as you want. It ain't gonna cut it no more lower than that. Um, but but anyway, she's washing his hair. So that's just like one of those nice little, bonding moment type of scenes with couples or something. That could be a whole thing, just washing their hair. Like the girls are big on making that one joke about the seat. Uh, they gotta make sure their seat clean and all. That's just a whole nother joke. Anyway, but she's washing his hair, so that's just what's going on right now at the 30-minute mark. So this is 50 Shades Freed after 30 minutes.